So, the lesson that we are going to study today is respect our earth. So, what do you mean by respect? A state of honoring someone, keeping them in a high position or high regard? And how do we show that? Or how do we do that? By different ways, right? We can speak politely, we can stand up when elders enter a classroom. We should not cross our legs when elders are sitting before us. We don't talk back, we obey them. There are several ways you can show respect to others. But how can we show respect to our earth? We can't speak politely, we can't stand up, we cannot obey. Then how do we do it? That is exactly what we are going to see in this lesson. And as we read this lesson, I want you all to circle the different characters that we come across and underline the difficult words that we read. As we begin the lesson, we are introduced to the setting of the story, where the whole story is happening. It is happening in a huge Maidan. What do you mean by Maidan? A large piece of land, something like a playground or a park. It's a large piece of land and it's full of people. Some of them are walking and some of them are jogging, some of them are doing exercise, and some of them are doing yoga in yoga mats. So a lot of things are happening in Maidan. And in one corner, under a huge banyan tree, there's Gagan. He's relaxing after playing football with his friends. It is a huge banyan tree under which he and his friends are sitting and relaxing, and he is accompanied with his grandfather, who's called as Dadaji throughout the story. Dadaji always accompanies the group of children to the park every evening. So what do you mean by accompany? Get along, come along with, give a company. So Dadaji always gives company to these children to the park. As I was sitting and talking, Gagan spots a green parrot in the banyan tree. He says, "Look, Dadaji, a green parrot." Then his friend Maya says, Where? I've never seen a green parrot before." So immediately as soon as she said that, Dadaji started telling stories. He started as when I was in your age. That's what usually grandparents do, right? Even our parents, they keep on saying, when I was your age, I did this. When I was your age, we had so much to eat. When I was your age, we had so much to do. So likewise, he says, when I was your age, in this very same Maidan and in this very same tree, there used to be full of parrots and other birds. Listening to this, Mani, another friend of Gagan, said, "Where have all the birds gone now? There are only a little here." And even all the other children were so eager to listen to Dadaji as to why there are not so many birds here now. For which Dadaji says, we human beings forget that we have to share our planet with other living things like plants, animals, trees, birds, all the other aquatic life. We have to share our planet with all the other living things. Instead, what we tend to do is we fill this earth with nothing but ourselves. As human population grows, so do our demands on the earth. So we destroy everything and we become so selfish that we destroy all the other resources. The earth gives us light, water, heat, and food. We are using up all the resources faster. For example, if you see a man goes to cut a tree, And let us assume that he takes at least an hour to cut down or chop down the tree. The same man says, I also plant so many saplings. For each tree I cut, I plant more than 5 to 6 saplings, new saplings. But does any one of you realize that it takes at least 15 years for the sapling to grow into a big tree? So that's how fast we uh, use all the resources, and how much can the earth do, and how fast can it work in producing us more energy. And while he was explaining this, a girl called Roshni says that her father says, instead of planting palm trees and ashoka trees everywhere, we should plant fruit trees in the green belts and parks. Do you know what green belts are? Those are places where near the countryside or around the city where you're not allowed to build other buildings, only a space for trees to be there. And she says that we have to plant fruit trees in these green belts so that birds can have a good supply of food that they need. While she was talking about this, Dhiren, another friend, says, Roshni, I think you'll also have to learn to use less water when you shower. For which Roshni frowns and says, why, what's wrong with taking a good shower every morning? Another girl, Lily, says, I sometimes take bath in a tub full of water. How can I fit into a bucket? What is bucket bath? For which her friend says, you wouldn't fit into a bucket, as well as you're not supposed to use a tub of water to take bath. Just fill a bucket with water and use a mug of water at a time, and you will realize how little water you require to have a good bath. Have you seen people queuing up to fill water for their daily needs? Just because we don't need to do that, it doesn't mean we should waste water. As she said this, Dadaji also said, and you must also remember about the tooth mug. When you're brushing your teeth, instead of leaving the tap on and letting the precious water run down the drain, you must just use only a mug of water to brush your teeth.